Sorry, Kwong, do you mind if we record this?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Which is everybody is still the same self, but we choose to, because we choose to be special. We want to be different from each other. We make the decision to forget that we are the same self. So this is what the title of today's book is talking about. The decision to forget. That means in truth, in reality, we are the same self. The sum total of all of us here add together is our true self. You see? So because you and me wants to play the game of specialness, we choose to forget the true self, that we are the same self, and we divide the same self into different parts of different self, like 7 billion people. Actually, the sum total of the 7 billion people is our true self. Okay, so this is the topic for today. Now, I go on to line 1. Okay? Unless you know something, you cannot dissociate it. So to forget yourself is actually to dissociate yourself from the true self. In other words, it's indirectly saying that originally we have something. Because we choose to forget, that means the forgetting actually is indirectly saying that we have something, knowledge, and then we cut off that knowledge and then we forget something. That's what line 1 says. Unless you know something, you cannot dissociate it. So the decision to forget actually indirectly says that originally we know something. What is the something we know? We know that actually we are part of the everything. We are the same self, we are the spirit, we are the son of God, and we are the part of everything. You see? So line 2 says that knowledge must precede dissociation. So that dissociation is nothing more than a decision to forget. That means, as I just explained, originally we are the spirit, we are the son of God, we are part of the everything. And being the everything, there is no specialness. Because we desire to be the specialness. Because of that desire, we decided to forget the original thought that we are part of everything and substitute it with another thought that we are different from everything, so that you and I can play the game of specialness. Okay? So line 3, what has been forgotten? What has been forgotten then appears to be fearful. Now then we have forgotten our true self. Okay, the true self is that we are the sum total of the same self. Now I become the Kwong here. You know, Kevin become a separate self. Actually, Kevin is part of myself. You see, but I choose to have Kevin to be different from me, and I choose to forget that Kevin is myself. You see, so that I can be different from Kevin. Now the fourth self, which is me, being separate from all of you and different from all of you, becomes a new entity, becomes the ego self, the fourth self. You see, a fourth self which is different from the rest of you. Now this fourth self becomes a created new identity. Now this new identity, which is the Kwong in me, is fearful of the true self. You know, because if there is a true self, which is the sum total of everybody, then there is no separate identity. You know, in other words, the true self, which is the sum total of all of us add up together as the same self, the same spirit, does not allow the existence of a separate self, which is the fourth self of me, does not allow the existence of Kelvin and each of you here. So that's why it says that what has been forgotten then appears to be fearful. So what I've forgotten, that I'm the true self, becomes fearful to the ego self, to the fourth self here, okay? But only because the dissociation is an attack on truth. Now, the dissociation is when, what is the dissociation? Originally, I'm the same self, but I choose to break up the same self into 7 billion parts. So I'm dissociating myself with the other part of myself, okay? So this dissociation is actually an attack of the truth. In other words, by dividing my true self into billions of parts, I am attacking the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that I am the sum total of all of you. We share the same self. We are the sum total of everybody. Okay. So line number 4, you are fearful because you have forgotten. So now I have forgotten that all of you are myself. So I choose to remember that I am Kwong and all of you are unknown to me. Whatever is outside my body is not me. Now, when whatever is outside is not me, is unknown to me, then this unknowingness becomes fearful. Because I won't know whether Irina is a good person or a bad person. I won't know whether he is good or bad because all of you become a stranger. Because I already chosen to forget that Irina and Valerie is part of me. So that dissociation becomes very fearful. So now I'm in a world of illusion where everything outside my body is not part of me. Being not part of me, they become the unknown and they become very fearful to me because I won't know who is what is Verena, what is Kelvin, and what is Valerie. So you are fearful because you have forgotten. So this is line 4. And line 5, and you have replaced your knowledge by an awareness of a dream. So now instead of my knowledge is that instead of originally the truth is that all of us are my same self, I choose to replace it with another dream. What is the dream? The dream of the separation. You see, I dream because I dream to be special. I dream to be better than Christina. I dream to be better than Teresa. You see, so that dream of specialness, that dream of being different from each of you, has replaced the original truth. What is the original truth? The original truth is that all of us is the same self. From the same cell, which is the truth, I replace it with 7 billion different cells, existing, so that I can play the game of separation. I can play the game of specialness. Okay. So line 5 again, and you have replaced your knowledge by an awareness of a dream because you are afraid of your dissociation, not of what you have dissociated. So now I created a world of illusion out of the truth. The truth is that I'm the same cell. In the illusion, I break up into billions of parts. So what is the fear about? The fear is actually the fear of separation, the fear of dissociation. Because you are afraid of your dissociation. What do you mean by afraid of your dissociation? That means I'm afraid of me breaking up the 7 billion people into different parts. Okay, so the 7 billion people become unknown to me. Because of that dissociation into 7 billion different unknown parts, that dissociation becomes fearful to me. Okay, and then it followed by the last few words, not of what you have dissociated. Yeah. So what I have dissociated is actually my true self. You see, so Kevin is actually myself. Teddy is actually myself. Jenny is actually myself. So in truth, I cannot be fearful of myself because all of you are my same self. You see, now, yet I'm fearful of all of you because I have chosen to dissociate Teddy as myself. Original Teddy is myself. By my dissociation, I make Teddy become unknown to me. In that unknowingness, I don't know whether Teddy can be trusted. I don't know Teddy is who is Teddy, whether he's a good guy or bad guy. So in this context, which is in line 5, I am fearful of the dissociation, but not what I have dissociated. So I have fearful of the forgetting that Teddy is myself. In that forgetting is a dissociation, you see, but in truth, Teddy is myself. I am not forgetting. I am not fearful of the dissociated. Are you clear now?
That's good.
You're free to join in and ask me to clarify. You're not sure.
Anyone wants to ask any questions? Maybe when we get to each end of each paragraph, we can just say if anyone's got questions.
Yeah. Or as I go along, you can jump in, no problem.
Okay.
If you
Well,
don't
Janine's
ask,
I think Janine's got a question now, Kwong.
Who?
I do. I just remember there are times I've read in the book that it's saying we're afraid of your dissociation, not of what you have dissociated. But I also have read that we are afraid of God. So isn't that what we've dissociated? So aren't we afraid of what we have dissociated if we're afraid of God?
Yes, it's the same because everybody is part of God. You see, God, you see how God is the source, is the beginning of everything. And you got to understand the basic. In the beginning, there is this God. Okay, God, I'm not a religious person. God can be the God that you worship. To me, I'm not religious, so God is just a power. Or to me, God is just a nature. It's just the source, the beginning of everything. Now, in this God, the so-called the power, the beginning of everything, it also has the mind, the so-called the mind of God. Now, what is the function of the mind of God? The function of the mind of God is to express, is to give God the infinite power to create anything. So mind is a mechanism to create anything. Now, the mind is just a mechanism. It cannot activate by itself. Okay, so it has to be driven by the will. Will is like a desire, a wish. You see? So God has a will. Now, God, through his will, command the mind, and the mind express according to the will. So what was God's will? God wills to be the everything. You know, so God has a will to be everything, and it commands the mind, and the mind expresses itself into the everything. Now, what is the everything? The everything is the Son of God. You and me and everything, whatever that ever exists. So that in that will, we become the everything. As the book says that God extends itself to be the everything through his will, and you and I become the Son of God, which is the everything. So in that context, when God expresses itself into the everything, we become the everything. We have three characteristics. What is the three characteristics? As the book describes, we are omnipotent. That means we share the same creating power with God. We created everything. We are omnipresent. That means we are being present everywhere, being part of everything. We are omniscient. Omniscient means that we know everything. Because being part of everything, we experience and we know everything. So in that domain, we are being part of everything, we know everything, and we experience everything. That was the original self. Now, the everything is actually part of God. Now, all these things are in the abstract domain. That means in the formless dimension. God is formless, the will of God is formless, and the mind of God is formless. Being formless, they actually are the same self, because formlessness has no beginning, no ending. They are the same thing. So even the everything is also part of the formlessness. So when God is formless, the will of God is formless, the mind of God is formless, and the everything is formless. These four things actually, they encompasses each other. They are the same thing. Now, for explanation purpose, we are so used to dissecting and analyzing it. I'm explaining it as part of God, as the will of God, as the mind of God, as the everything. But in truth, they cannot be divided, which means that this power has four tendencies. The fourth tendency is that this power has a tendency which is the source of God. And this power has a second tendency which is the will of God. And the third tendency is that it has the infinite power to create anything, which is the mind of God. And the fourth tendency is that it expresses itself into the everything, which is the Son of God, or the Spirit, or the everything. So when we according to we go back to Jenny's question, we are fearful of God. It's actually that we are actually all part of God, because we are everything. So I'm fearful of Mark. I'm fearful of Kevin. Indirectly, it's the same as I am fearful of God, because the everything is the same as God. You is the same as God. You see now, because God extends itself into everything. So when God created you and me, God imbued you the quality exactly as the same of God. Imbue means that you are empowered. So when God created you and me, we have the same power with God. That means we share the same God's will. We share the same mind of God. We share being the everything as God expressed Himself to be the everything. So that is the original context. Okay, but there's only one thing that God didn't share with you. God created you. You did not create God. That is not reciprocal. You know, other than this, everything we are equal to God. We share everything. God share Himself. That means, in other words, God Himself become us. So when I'm fearful of Janine, I'm fearful of Mark, indirectly, I am fearful of God. Can you get me, Jenny? Yeah. So it's actually the words are put in different contexts. So line number 6, when what you have dissociated is accepted. We are in paragraph line number 6, Mark, page 183. Mark, just join us. Page 183, the decision to forget. We are paragraph 1, line number 6. When what you have dissociated is accepted, it ceases to be fearful. So what I have dissociated is I have dissociated that Janine is me. That means I have forgotten that Janine is me. So when I forgot that Janine is part of myself, Janine become unknown. So I become fearful of her. Don't know whether Janine is a good person or a bad person. I don't know whether I can trust her or not. So Janine is the dissociated part of myself. So when I can remember that Janine is myself, means that when I accept that Janine is myself, then the fear stops, which is the last few words. It ceases to be fearful. Okay? So in other words, the purpose of this book is actually to help us to remember ourselves. Now, you look at the title of the book. The title of the book, it says that the course in miracle. What does the word miracle mean? Miracle, to put it in simple terms, means that the ability to recognize that everything is part of myself. That recognition is the miracle the book is talking about. So do not confuse the word miracle that is like, you know, you can heal the dead, you can heal the disease, you can make money. That was the original error I made when I joined the book. I mean, when I joined the course, because I was very attracted by the title of the book, A Course in Miracle. Miracle means I can create magic. Actually, it's not true. The book is not talking about that miracle in our everyday life. So the word miracle is about recognizing that everything is part of myself. Now, when I recognize everything as part of myself, when I recognize that Mark is myself, Kevin is myself, Teddy is myself, there's only one thing that can happen. Being myself, I definitely treat them as myself. I love them as myself. You know, I can trust them as myself. Now, in that knowing that Kevin and Teddy and Mark is myself, I will treat them as myself, because that is different part of myself. So in that treating that part, other part as myself, that connection, that acceptance is called the love. So in other words, the word miracle means love. A course in miracle is actually a course in love. To put in simple terms, love in this book is different from our everyday context. Love means that accepting that Janine is myself. That acceptance that Janine is myself, and that connection is called the love. And not only Janine, I recognize that everything is myself. As everything is being myself, that recognition is the so-called love. You see? So not only that Janine, Mark, and Valerie is myself, the animal is myself, the mountain is myself, the ocean is myself, the entire earth is myself. Now, how to comprehend that? I give you a simple example. How can the whole world or the whole universe is myself? Now, every one of us do sleep. When you and I sleep, we dream. You see? So we have a dream while we are sleeping. So when we are dreaming, we saw the whole, we were in a dream world. In the dream world, I saw Valerie, I saw Calvin, I saw Teddy, and saw all of you here. Okay. So in the dream world, I thought that the Kwong in me is myself. The Teddy in the dream is different from me, it's not me, it's somebody else. That was in the context of the dream, when I'm in the dream. Now, when I come out of the dream this morning, I look back at the whole dream. Where did the dream happen? It was happened in my mind. Okay. And how did the dream world was being constructed or manifested? It is my mind that manifests itself into the everything in the dream world. So my mind manifested myself, manifested Teddy, manifested all of you here. Now, is it me that is the true self in the dream? No. I am just part of the mind. Teddy is just part of the mind that dream. And Valerie is just part of the mind that dream. In truth, I am the mind. I am not the Kwong in the dream. Now, when you see that I'm the mind that dreamed the whole dream, then it is logic. Then the truth, that my true self in the dream is that I'm the mind that expressed into the whole dream world. Now, I'm being the mind that expressed into the whole dream world. It is logical to understand and to know that every character in the dream is myself, because I'm the mind. Not only just the character, the ocean, the mountain, the stone, the animal, the ants, the disease, the bacteria, everything is myself. Can you figure that out now? Now, if you can see that in the dream, the same thing is happening here. Here is just a awakening dream, another level of the dream. Okay, which looks like an awakening dream. Actually, it's just another level of the dream. And this whole world now we are in is an expression of the mind that created the 7 billion people, the earth, the mountain, the ocean. And we have chosen to forget that we are the mind. Why we have chosen to forget the mind? So that I forget that Mark is me, I forget that Valerie is me. Why do I choose to forget that? Because I want to be special. By choosing that you are not me, I can try to be outbid you. I can be better than you. If I know that Teddy is me, what is the point of being better than Teddy when that part is also myself? You know, so that's why I choose to forget that I'm the mind that express myself into the everything. But the same thing is also happening in heaven. Heaven, there is the mind of God, and mind of God express itself into the everything. But in heaven, we did not forget that we are the everything. So in heaven, we remain being part of everything. We know everything. We experience everything. Now, imagine when you have everything, you know everything, and you experience everything. What is the outcome? The outcome is perfect joy, love, and happiness. What can be better than that? There's nothing that can supersede that. If there is nothing that can supersede that, being everything, knowing everything, and having everything in that kind of condition, what can it be except being the heaven? Can you see? You know? So heaven is just a state of mind, a condition where you are being everything, you know everything, and you have everything. So the function of the book is to help us to remember, because we have a sick thought. We choose to forget that we are part of everything, we know everything, and we have everything. And because we have a silly thought, a sick thought, that we blame God. Why God didn't make me better than the rest of the different part of everything? So there is only one thing we don't have. We are not happy, although we have everything, we know everything, and we experience everything, because I can't be better than different parts of myself, which is the other part of myself. So in that kind of thoughts, we have a sick desire. We want to be better. I want to experience how is it like that I cut off my relationship with you and I forget that you are me, and now I play a different game so that I can become better than you, stronger than you, richer than you, prettier than you, whatever it is. Anything that I am better than you. Now, when I'm better than you, then you must be the loser. Because there's one winner, there's one loser. So in this world, half will be winner, half will be loser. So what do the loser do? They will try to get something special. Maybe they lose to me financially, I'm richer. Then they will try to outbid me being richer or stronger. Anything. Still there is some loser. So what do the loser that lose everything? That loser that lose everything also wants to have a desire to be special, to fulfill. So there are some losers to the extent that they want to be special is that they become the greatest loser in life, like having a special disease that nobody has, having a cancer that nobody has, because he's special. Yeah, I have a special disease, nobody has. As long as I'm special, I don't care whether it's good being special, or if I lose out in the being good special, I will go to the worst type, the other extreme. So you find that there are people who feel special because they have a special kind of disease. You see? So this is the game you and I are playing. Any question? I've been talking the whole morning. Yeah, very.
I always get confused about the dreamer and the dream. You said our mind is creating the dream. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And so are we the dream or the dreamer? Because you also said we are the mind. So does that make us the dreamer?
You are the dreamer. The dreamer is the mind. The mind has the infinite power. You see, the dream is the figure, the very you in the dream, that is your false self. So in other words, I think the best example is to use our dream, because everybody has dream. So your mind that dreams the whole dream in the dream, that is the true self. And the mind has infinite power because it's the imagination in the dream. It can manifest anything with the dream. But within the dream, there is the very character in the dream. So that is the dream. That is the false self. Now, once you get this concept right, then you can understand what the book is talking about. You see now? The same thing is happening here. Now bring that dream a level up to this awakening world. It's just another level of the dream. Okay? And the book even bring another level up to heaven. In heaven, it's the same concept. It is the creation of the mind. The mind has infinite power to create. Infinite means no limit. It can be anything. You see now?
Do you happen to know off the top of your head if there's anywhere in the book that talks about the dreamer and the dream and
yeah, there is a topic. I can go to that later in the next meeting. There is a dreamer, the hero of the dream, and the dreamer of the dream. I try to look for you and see.
I know where the hero of the dream is. You don't, yeah, that's fine. I can definitely look at that again. I don't understand why I have such a hard time with that concept, but for whatever reason, it's a challenge for me. So I appreciate you explaining it.
Yeah. We do have a hard time in recognizing that is because you and I have so much investment into this dream or this false self, because from day one, you and me has been taught that is Valerie, this is Kwong, and that is Kelvin, which is not me. My parents taught me that, the school taught me that, the society taught me that, and everybody believed that, you know. So for me, I have been knowing that I am Kwong, the false self. I have been accepting the fact that for the last 50, 60 years, you know. Now, when I come to the new information that this Kwong is not me, this is my false self, what does it mean? It means that I've been wrong for the last 50, 60 years. Because this is a wrong self. I have made the mistake for the last 50, 60 years. The ego, which is the false self, which I thought is me, cannot accept that. It is very difficult. So that is the huge resistance, because we have been attaching to the identity of the body. We have been attached to the ego. This refusal to accept the fact that this is not me makes the book extremely difficult to understand. You find that when you read this book, it talks nonsense. You can't comprehend even a paragraph because of our rejection. We are coming from the body. Now, when I can explain to you word by word, line by line, is because I'm seeing from another perspective. I'm seeing from the mind point of view. I'm not seeing from the Kwong in the dream. That is the only secret in the book. When you can see from the mind point of view that express the dream and not from the you in the dream, the whole book will reveal itself to you. This book is the word of the spirit or the word of your true self. What is your true self? You are the spirit. Or you can put it in another way, it's the voice of God. Because your true self, the spirit, and God, they are the same self. So in different contexts, sometimes the book will say it's the voice of God. Sometimes it says it's an enlightened person. Sometimes it says it's Christ. Sometimes it says it's the Son of God. They are actually the same thing because they are all formless. The Son of God, the Christ, the God, the Spirit, they are all formless. Being formless, they have no beginning, no ending. So they are the same things. In other words, this same thing cannot be separated. They have different tendency. This same thing has the tendency to be God. This same thing has the tendency to be the Son of God. This same thing has a tendency to be the everything. This tendency can be the Christ. This tendency can be the Spirit because they are the same. There's no boundary in the formless dimension. You see? But the different words are being used because this is how we are being taught in this world to make you understand, to comprehend. You see? But of course, in heaven, there's no need to learn because we are being everything, we experience everything, we know everything. Learning is ridiculous in heaven, but learning here is important because here is the opposite of everything. What is the opposite? We don't have everything, we don't know everything, we are not being everything. It's complete opposite of heaven. So when you and I don't know everything, don't experience everything, we need to know, we need to learn because we are born like empty. Why we are born like empty? Because of today's topic. The moment I born, I have chosen to forget everything. Today's topic is the decision to forget. So Valerie, are you okay? So if you look carefully the book, every page, every paragraph is trying to suppress the ego. What do you mean by suppress the ego? Because the ego is the block, the barrier to your knowledge that you are part of everything. If I am the everything, all of us add up is me, then the Kwong has no meaning. Now, to put in the context, scientists say that my body has about 90 trillion cells, roughly about that. You can go to Google. So in my body, the 90 trillion cells add up together, makes up this body, which is the me. Now, what happened is that every part of me, I know is me. My awareness knows that the whole body is me, the 90 trillion cell. But there is a sick thought in my awareness, my mind. My sick thought suddenly goes into this cell, into this finger. So my focus went to the finger, and I thought that this is me. And I forget that the whole body is me. So from this cell point of view, it saw another cell over there and other cell over there. It saws that it is different from this cell. This cell is different from this cell. That means my focus is in here. Okay. So when my mind is sick, I forgot that I'm everything. That is called the decision to forget. I choose to forget that I'm the whole 90 trillion cell. I choose to be this tiny little cell in this finger here. By choosing to be the tiny little cell in this finger, I choose to have the remaining 90 trillion cell to be not me. That is the so-called the decision to forget. Now, by doing that, this cell Why do I choose to be this cell to be me instead of everything me? Because I want this cell to be better than the rest of the cells. You see, when my awareness is the whole body is me, the 90 trillion cell is me that make up the same cell, then what is the difference that this cell is better than that cell? Because both are my cell. You see, so the only thing that this cell can play the game of better than the other cell is I have to make the decision to forget that I am the whole body. Yeah. So I choose that to forget that I'm the whole body. I make a new identity that I'm the single cell in this finger. Now that new identity I have chosen is the Kwong. It's the ego cell. It's the fourth cell. What is my real cell? The sum total of my 90 trillion cells add up together. You can get that picture? Now expand the body into the universe, the 90 trillion cell, into the universe, the galaxy, and the billions of planets. It's the same. Can you imagine that? The 90 trillion cell in my body expanded into the universe. The universe is just like a whole body. You see, I'm giving you a miniature example of what is the universe of the creation. Now, once you can get that, then you know what the book is talking about. Can you follow me? This is the main idea, the main gist of the book. Once you get this concept right, then the book will reveal itself to you. And the book clearly says one thing: nobody who do not identify itself as the body can fail to know the message of the book and can fail to hear the voice of God. In other words, the secret is when you detach your awareness out of body identification, there's only one thing you can see. You will remember that you're part of everything. Now, how does it work? I'm the spirit, in truth, but I can't experience the spirit. But there's one thing I can experience. I can experience my mind. I can experience my thoughts. Now, look at the spirit. The spirit has no form. Look at the thought. The thought also has no form. Look at my awareness. My awareness also has no form. No form means that they have no beginning, no ending. So in other words, the awareness has no form, the thought has no form, the spirit has no form. They have no boundary. So you can logically say that the spirit is the thought, and the spirit is the mind, and the spirit is the awareness. But the awareness I can feel. So I make my awareness as my anchoring point. My awareness is my true self, because it's equal to the mind, equal to the spirit, equals to the thought. Now, since my awareness can represent my spirit, my true self, then I can feel my awareness, I can view my awareness. Now, how does it work? I can detach my awareness from my body identification. Now, I can prove it to you very easily. Every one of us sleep at night. Going back to the same dream you dream at night. While you are dreaming, you saw yourself inside. Now, while you are dreaming, what happened? Did your awareness went into the dream, or did your body went into the dream? Obviously, your awareness. While you are dreaming, the body is still sleeping in the bed. So something detached from the body and went inside the dream, your awareness. You see? So in other words, I'm trying to prove to you is that your awareness can detach. You are detaching every night. You have many dreams, but you dream, you forget. Scientists say that we have many dreams every night. You see? So the moment we wake up, we forget. So if you look at the dream, you can detach your body. That means I can detach my awareness from the body, from body identification. Now, the moment I detach from my body identification, there's only one thing that can happen. So when I detach from my body identification, my awareness has no identity, no point of reference. I'm detached from the body. So in that no point of reference, I become formless. and I have no beginning, no ending. I'm being part of everything. So in that detachment, there's only one thing you can experience. You experience that you encompassing everything because you are formless. Being formless has no beginning, no ending. So your awareness become part of everything. Now in that part of everything, and everything is being encompassed by you, everything is within your awareness. Now, when everything is within your awareness, it's like the 90 trillion cells within me. They are being part of me. So that detachment alone is a glimpse of heaven. In that glimpse of heaven, you experience that you are part of everything, you have everything, and actually you know everything. Now, this is what the book in the introduction says. If you can stop identifying with your body, the message of God, the voice of God, the Holy Spirit becomes a sure thing. So this book is written from that angle. Now, how long can I detach from my body? I can't detach for a day. I can't detach for an hour. I can't even detach for a minute. But the book says you can detach for an instant. How long is an instant? A fraction of a second. Now that fraction of a second is good enough, it says, because there's only one thing you will experience. You will experience being the formless you and encompassing you. In that glimpse, in that instant, that is the so-called a glimpse of heaven, or the miniature of heaven. You come back to this body because you cannot stay there for an instant. The so-called the holy instant, an instant you become whole again. So you come back to the body, you remember that instant. By that remembering of that instant, I remember that Mark is me, Teddy is me, Valerie is me. Then my game changed. You see? So, but if I'm not given that, if I don't detach myself, I don't have that glimpse. There is no way I can see that Mark is myself. No matter how I look at it, Mark is completely different from me. It's outside me. So that glimpse is very important. So in that glimpse, you actually saw the truth. And that glimpse is the so-called the Holy Spirit, or the voice of God, or the experiencing of heaven. Okay?
Kwong, I've got a question. I think that I wouldn't be the only one. Is it, how do you detach from the body?
Yes. How do you detach from the body?
Yeah.
You can, Kevin, let me give you an example. Assuming my lessons are very boring, but somehow you have to attend out of maybe just out of friendship, or one you don't want to disappoint me. So while you're attending and I'm talking rubbish and you have no interest in it, you know what will happen or not? You are being present in my meeting, but your mind has drifted out. You went home, you went to your office, were in some good moment with your friends, or you have been some trips, memory and all that. Now that drifting is a detachment. Can you get me? So in other words, that detachment is your shifting of your awareness out of this moment, out of the body. So there can be only two places your awareness. Either here as the body, or either you're outside. You see, if you recall back in the school days, sometimes we are so boring when the teacher's teaching is because we are not interested in the lesson. We sat there and being present and listen to the teacher, but our mind is not there. We're absent-minded. That absent-minded is actually the detachment. You see, and if you read those yogi, those people who are in Himalaya, they meditate and all that. You know what is the ultimate aim? The ultimate aim is detachment from the body. That is meditation. Meditation, the main purpose is to forget that this body is you. You are purely an awareness, purely a mind, or purely a spirit.
Yeah, Kwong,
So, yeah.
can I say, I detach from my body all the time. I'm always going, but I'm not experiencing the oneness and the everything.
How do I make that detachment time constructive rather than just me focusing on some problem rather than what's going on in front of me?
Yeah. You see, we have been so used to attach to the body. Even in the detachment, you will still remember at the body while you're attachment. So sometimes we think we detach. Thinking that you are detaching is different from actually detaching. So you need a lot of practice in the beginning. You see, now. So although sometimes because for 40, 50, 60 years, we have been so attached to the body, suddenly the book asks you to detach. It's something very hard to do. We are not used to it. That's why the book didn't ask for more. Ask for a moment, an instant to forget your body. You can do that if you really try. Another way is to put it in a very simple context. Detachment is like shifting your awareness to a higher point of view and look down. It's like, let's say in my country, I have a 100-story building. Attachment is like I'm on the ground floor, I'm looking at it. Detachment is like I'm on top of the 100-story floor and I look at the scenario. The scene is completely different because I have a bigger point of view compared to I'm on the ground floor. So the detachment is like looking above the battleground or from a higher point of view. In the beginning, you can figure out that way. So when you read the book, you have to take that point of view. Then you can see what this book is talking about. Otherwise, there's no way you can understand this book because we have been so used to read from the body point of view. This book is not written from this point of view. If you read from the body point of view, you cannot even understand one paragraph. You see, you read one sentence, you roughly get the meaning, you find that the second line don't connect. Then something is wrong. What is wrong? Because your point of view is wrong. Now, why I could explain every line, every paragraph, simply because I'm taking another point of view. So that is the only secret. There is nothing special about me. You know, I have the same book with you. I'm reading from the book word by word, line by line. The difference is I took another point of view and you didn't take another point of view. So you need somebody to explain to you. You know, when you can choose a higher point of view, you actually can read the book yourself. There is no secret in this book.
So Kwong, how did you get to that different point of view? What did you experience? You experienced it and then what happened with you?
From a higher point of view, I experienced that I'm not a body. I'm free. I can become part of everything.
And did you do that on purpose or just an accident? How one day just happened and you thought, oh, now I know?
Probably I've been very interested in this psychology. Before I do ACM, I already attending many courses, and the mind subject is actually, I have a huge interest in it. I've spent many years on it before I get into this course, you see. So maybe I do have a strong foundation. And I also learn about meditation and all that. So maybe it does help, but I don't think it's necessary to go through that. You know, because the book says that how long does it take to awaken yourself? It says that it's only one thought away. The one, you know, the one pure thought that you know that you are not the body. That's all only. It's just one thought away from heaven. Yeah. So, of course, you may not be able to do that one thought. You may not be able to understand the way like I understand now. But I can show you the way is that the way is to see from a higher point of view. This is the only way you can you can understand the book. Now, by doing that habitually, which means that reading the book is a practicing of detachment from the body. Because why? If you don't detach from the body to read the book, you cannot comprehend the book. Which means that every moment you understand what you're reading is equal to the amount of time you spend to detach from your body. Or is equal to the amount of time you are suppressing the ego. Or is equal to the amount of time that you experience your true self. Do you notice or not? This book, every paragraph is talking that you are me, I'm you, I'm part of everything. That is my true self. So when you read that you are part of everything, you are everything, you know everything, you are part of God, that is the experiencing of your true self. In other words, understanding the book is equal to experiencing of my true self, equal to understand, equal to the experience of my spirit. Can you see? They're all interchangeable. Sometimes it takes a while to, because suddenly I give you this information, it's a shock to many people, because it's completely the opposite of what we thought we know. But that is to tell you how powerful it has been the ego or the false self. You see? So this new identity, new knowledge, the purpose is to suppress the ego or to kill the ego, such that you regain back your true self or regain back your spirit self. There's no other way. To tell you the truth of this book, the main theme or the main purpose of this book is to kill the ego. If you were to read the lessons, there are 365 lessons. When you reach lesson 200, the lesson, what does it say? It says, I am not the body, I am a spirit. And you repeat twice in that lesson. And that lesson is repeated 20 times. 201 to 220. Same topic. I am not the body, I am the spirit. If you can go to the lesson and see. Why is it so important? Because it's the same theme. The theme of the book, the main idea of the book. Not only in the lesson, every page in the text is actually repeating the same thing, but in a different format. Now, Kevin and Mark, you have heard me in Simon's class for many times. I think probably 10 times. Is there a time that I talk of other things other than you are me and I'm you? I didn't. Every time I share in Simon's class, I'm still repeating the same thing, but in a different format. Why is repeating the same thing? Because that is the truth. And the truth is simple. How simple is it? Everything is the same self, the oneness.
Yeah, so in my lesson today, Kwong, I'm up to lesson, what am I lesson up to? 192. I have a function God would have me fill, and it's in there.
192.
It's in there somewhere. It talks about you and me being the same self.
Are you sure? 192? Let me look at it.
Yeah, 192.
I have a function God would have me fulfill. 192.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the function? I need to accept all of you as myself. That is the function.
Yeah, and forgiveness is how you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the function of love. Because I have been so guilty that I disown you. Now, how bad is it to disown you? Now, in society, I give you an example. It is very bad that we disown our children. It is very bad to disown our spouse. It is very bad to disown our sibling, to disown our parents. But nobody thought of one thing. We disown ourselves. Who is ourselves? All of the people outside me is myself. Now, is it greater than disowning the parent, the sibling, the spouse, and the children? Surely. Disowning yourself is a higher degree, but nobody thought of that. The book actually reveals to me that That is the most guilty thing that we ever did. That is where the guilt arises. Now, it's like I'm the mother and I give birth to the 7 billion people. After having given birth to the 7 billion people, and I disown them. Not only disown them, I attack them and condemn them. Now, the book is actually, the function of the book is to tell me the truth. That is what I have did. And what is the rightful thing to do? To own them back, to love them back, to reconnect them back, and to accept them back as myself. That is the function of this book is talking about. Now, once you see that, then you see how important it is that our function is here. That is the only rightful thing to do. Because we are the same self. We are the mind that expresses itself into everything. Like just now, I give the example. You are the mind that dreamed the whole dream. Everything in the dream is yourself. It is not just the Kelvin in the dream. You know, the Mark, the Kwong, the Valerie, everything is also part of Kelvin. Because Kelvin is the mind that expresses itself into the whole dream world. So the same thing is happening here. You see, you being the mind and created the whole world, and then after that you only choose to be Kelvin and you disown all of them. This is the book. What the book says is you are murdering your true self. So there's a one line that says that what is not love is murder. It's quoted in one of the texts there. What is not love is murder. That means if I don't accept you as part of myself, that is the call of the love. Then I'm murdering my true self. Because my true self is the sum total. When I refuse to accept that you are me, I'm actually murdering my true self. I'm destroying my true self. So what is not love is murder means that if I don't choose accept you as myself, which is the love, I am murdering my true self. I'm destroying my oneness with all of you. Any other question? We are on page 183 on the text.
Go ahead, Kwong. Continue.
Okay, I move on to paragraph 2. I'm still in the text, page 183, paragraph 2. Line 1 say, yet to give up the dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. So now I have played the game of dissociation. Dissociation is just another word for separation. You know, I have dissociated myself from Kelvin, from Irina, and from all of you. You see? So to give up dissociation means I accept you, all of you, back as myself. You know? So now I remember that all of you are myself. I accept Mark as myself, Kelvin and myself, Cole as myself. So yet to give up dissociation of reality brings more than merely lack of fear. So by accepting all of you as myself, I no longer become fearful of you because you are part of me. But there's more than that. I suddenly remember that I am part of everything. I am the Son of God. I have everything. You see, you know? So line 2 says, in this decision lies joy, peace, and glory of creation. Now, why is it line 2 is like that? Because why? When I give up the dissociation, I accept all of you as myself. Now, how can I give up this dissociation? The only way is detaching my awareness that I am not this body. When I'm not this body, my awareness encompasses all of you. We are the same spirit, we are the same awareness. So in that formless awareness and the formless spirit, we are joined as the same self. So when we are the same self and my awareness has no beginning, no ending, I become part of everything. When I become part of everything, I have everything, I experience everything, and I know everything. Now, when you can have everything, experience everything, and you know everything, that is the ultimate joy is talking about. Nothing can supersede that. That's why line 2 says that in this dissociation, in this decision of dissociation, lies joy, peace, and glory of creation, which is in line 2. Okay. So line 1 tell you that what I need to do is to give up the separation or give up the dissociation. You see, not just because of removing the fear. By doing that, I have joy, peace, and glory. So line 3, offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness. Now, the word offer the Holy Spirit. What do you mean by offer the Holy Spirit? When I started to read the book, I have big problem with the Holy Spirit. I don't know where is it. You see, and I always blame her. The book keep on repeating the Holy Spirit. Now, since Holy Spirit, you are so powerful, why didn't you appear and help me? If you are the Holy Spirit and you don't appear to help me, it's nonsense that you tell me that you are powerful and all-knowing. You see, so I keep blaming until I read it off. After some time, I realized that the Holy Spirit is actually myself. Now, where does the Holy Spirit happen? The Holy Spirit happens when my awareness detached from my body identification. That act is called the Holy Spirit. Or to put it in simple, when I'm shift my awareness to a higher point of view, out of my body, or to the 100-story building, I saw a bigger scenario. That act is called offer to the Holy Spirit. So the word offer the Holy Spirit means ask me to shift my awareness out of the body. Why? When I shift my awareness out of the body, I'm no longer a physical body. I'm no longer a fossil. I become part of all of you. In that shifting, there's only one thing you can experience. You are encompassing everything. In that encompassing everything, you realize that you are part of everything. And being realized that you are part of everything, then it is logical to say that Irina is me, Kelvin is me, everybody is me. You see? Why I need that shifting? Because from the body point of view, there's no way I can see that you are me. Only through shifting to a higher point of view can I see that Valerie is me and other people is me. Okay? Okay, so offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness to remember. So that shifting needs something very important, your willingness. Nobody can help you. I can only tell you the mechanics. I can only tell you how to do it. But if you don't do it, what can I do? There's nothing. That means you are not ready. You still have great love for the ego. You still have great investment in your body. You see? So by having great love with your ego and great investment in your body, you become very, very attached to the body. You are unwilling to let go of this identity. That's why line 2 says that offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness to remember. That means you. Now, what does the willingness to remember? Remember that I'm part of everything. Why this willingness to remember as part of everything is important and so difficult to do? Because when I remember that I'm part of everything, I'm part of all of you, it only means another thing. It means that this is not me. This fossil is not me. Now, if I have great love for this fossil, I have great investment in this fossil, to ask me to give up something I love and I have invested for the last 60 years is impossible. You see? So the only way I can only give up this fossil, this body cell, is I need to know what is on the other side. What is the other side? When I shift up my awareness. You know, so the book is keep repeating, trying to tell me that when I shift up, that is the glory, that is the joy, that is the happiness. And I do experience that, then I am ever willing to shift up. Because line 1 talks about the dissociation, giving up the dissociation or giving up the separation. Giving up in order to give up the separation, which is in line 1, it means that give up the identity of the body. What give up the identity of the body? The awareness give up the identity of the body. Okay, so if you have been so attached to the body, you have so loved the body, you really love the specialness game, then the shifting becomes an impossible thing. because you are still stick to the body. You are still holding on to the sick thought that this is your false self, this is the real me. You see? So that's why line 3 says that offer the Holy Spirit only your willingness to remember, for he retains the knowledge of God and of yourself for you. So this is what I say, that when I shift out of the body, there's only one thing you can experience. You saw that everything is within you. When you experience that everything is within your awareness, you recognize that you are part of everything. That recognition is the so-called, for he retains the knowledge of God. What is the knowledge of God? You are the everything. You are part of God. You are part of everything. And of yourself for you, waiting for your acceptance. The last forward, waiting for your acceptance. That means it is always there. Any moment you can shift out, and any moment you can experience the knowledge of God. They are always waiting for you. Is it not?
Right, Kwong, I've got a question now. If you asked 100 Course in Miracles students, just offer a little bit of willingness and you'll have this, well, nearly all of them will say yes, yes, yes. But so what you're saying is we're not really offering our willingness. We want to have we're sort of saying we're willing, but we want to hold on to the body at the same time. Yeah.
As long as you hold on to the body at the same time, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah. So, but I guess what I'm interested in, everyone might be interested in, is like, I understand what you're saying. Concepts, I'm good at concepts. And all I can say is that I must, in my own self, that's what I think I want. But if I'm not getting it, if I don't experience it, there's a part of me that's unwilling or not accepting it or something else going on. Because I mean, from what you're talking about too, some people seem to experience it more than an instant, though, not just an instant. Like they seem to go off and they're gone for more than an instant. We're talking about not in time.
I think don't bother about how other people do. You see, the purpose of this book is to provide you a way to shorten the time.
Yeah.
To awaken yourself, to shorten your time, to be able to detach. Of course, the course says that this course is not the only way. There are thousands of ways in the universe that is helping you to remember yourself. Now, why this way is being chosen by me? I find that this way is adaptable to me, suitable to me. And the book says that this is the way that can shorten the time. You save a lot of time. That I cannot guarantee that this is the way that is suitable for you. Maybe it's a meditation, maybe it's some other guru, or maybe it's some other teacher of the Course in Miracle, or maybe my style is not your style. You see? So there can be a lots of possibility. So to me, somehow that I find that this way really suits me. I'm adaptable to it. Before that, I'm a seeker. I've been searching all kinds of spirituality, but I find that I don't adapt to them. It doesn't mean that they're no good. It's that it doesn't suit me. I have been in meditation, sitting for hours and hours of meditating. I find it, I just can't do it. You see? So you can't do it doesn't mean that you're out. Maybe other ways. So I could only offer you my way. Whether you accept it or not is entirely up to you. You see, but yeah, my message is very.
I do accept it, but it's like, so what I'm saying is, we can hear you talk and accept what you're saying, but then to not have the experience, there's something missing.
Something missing is that you are not willing to detach. That is the only thing missing.
Yep. All right. I accept that.
Yes.
So is it like with yourself? It's like, do you think it was like the strong desire to do this? Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to that part that you are not willing to detach. You are not willing to detach. Why do we not willing to detach? You got to understand why. As I just repeated, it is because our love for the body is huge. we have this game going on, we have still not settled yet. We still value the game of the separation. And this is part of it. The bigger part of it is that you are not sure on what is on the other side. You see, when you are not sure on what is the other side, the ego, and you believe in the ego, the sick thought, and you listen to the ego. Now, the ego is the fourth cell, the sick mind is fighting for survival. It needs your loyalty. It needs your support. As long as you listen to the ego and you're loyal to it, the ego becomes stronger and stronger. So the ego has its own strategy to strengthen itself, to keep hold of you, not letting you to detach. So the ego will create a game here, which is attractive. You know, you can enjoy life here, you can be better here, you can fulfill your life here, everything. You see, and then it also paint a different picture of heaven. What is the different picture of heaven it painted? It says that if you go there, you'll be punished by God because you left God, you're guilty. Better don't go there. And if you go there, you become nothing because there is the unknown. So when the ego tells you that there's the unknown and nobody have been there and don't know whether the book is telling the truth or is lying, then better not take the gamble. Because if you go to the unknown, you become Olivian, become nothingness. Being nothingness, completely nothing, disappear. I think it's a better choice to hold on to this body. Having a little bit is better than nothing at all. So that was the information we thought we have. So what is the function of the book? The function of the book is to come in to tell you the truth of what is on the other side, what is on heaven, what is the detachment, what kind of experience you will have. And it also tells you one more important function. To detach doesn't mean giving up this body. To detach is only spend a moment, have an experience of heaven, a glimpse of heaven. At the same time, you still maintain the body because the detachment only happens for an instant. You are not going to spend the rest of the life detached because the instant will quickly end and then you will come back to the body attachment. But in that moment, that glimpse is important. You have a glimpse of the truth. You have a glimpse of heaven. So you come back to the body, you play the game differently. So this is what the book is asking you only. Detach an instant. You have 24 hours a day spending time listening to the ego. Give a moment for yourself. This is what the book is asking for. So that you can take a look at what is this game is going on. Have you been doing it right? Then you come back to the body, you will change your whole life game. So once you get these facts right, detachment is easier. It's a gradual process.
Okay, so let me say, excuse me, Kwong, you've experienced your holy instant, and you've come back, and when you're back, you still see us as separate, but you're aware now that what the reality is. Is that what you're saying? And so you look at things differently. But since you've had your first experience till now, things have changed also in the world, because as you get more, I don't know, you respond that way to Mark and myself and everyone else as yourself. You see more clearly how much we are yourself. Is that what happens?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've changed probably from when you first experienced the holy instant to maybe 10 years later when it's like it changes all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the holy instant's the same.
The holy instant will never change, but your life will change. Each moment, each time you spend there is convincing you that this game of separation is not played in this way. Your game in this illusion world, a world of separation will change. Yeah. But the instant will not change. The instant remain the same. But what is the instant? In that instant, you saw that you are part of everything.
Yeah, and that's your reference point.
That will never change.
That's
Yeah.
a reference point then, yeah?
Yeah, that's a reference point.
Okay, yeah.
And I constantly need to go back to that instant because I need a reminder. Because when I'm in the body, every moment is reminding me of the separation.
Yes.
Every moment is reminding me of the body. So I need that constant shifting to keep me remembering myself, remembering the true self.
So how often
And-
would you have that shifting? Do you have it
Sorry?
often? Do you have you have it often, do you, that shifting? Or sometimes?
How often is it? Each time I read the book, I understand the book, that equals to the moment of shifting. So simple. So I don't have to meditate. I don't have to do anything. I just need the time. Let's say I spend 20 minutes to read the book. That is equal to the time of shifting. Because without shifting, I cannot understand the book. So when I read the book and I understand the book, what is it talking about? That equals to the amount of time I've shifted out of the body. That equals to the amount of time I have stopped being the ego. So the book is a practical way of shifting.
That's more than an instant though, isn't it?
Yes, more than instant.
Yeah.
I only realized that after I've been reading this book for years. So after reading the book from here, I come to the conclusion. The amount of time I spend on reading the book with understanding equals to the shifting or detachment of the body.
Okay.
Because
and you can spend the 20 years reading the book without understanding and get nothing, yeah?
then you are not shifting. You get nothing because you are not shifted. The problem is, if you don't understand the book, it only tell you one thing. You are attached to the body. And the moment you understand the book, you are already detached. So you don't have to do meditation or whatever. Of course, you do meditation, you even better. It doesn't mean it's good. It's not good. You can continue with whatever spiritual ritual you are doing to help you to enlighten. You see, but this is just a simple way I'm telling you. Read the book, comprehend, understand it. If you read the book and you fail to understand, do a self-check. What is a self-check? Remember, when I don't understand what I'm reading, the self-check automatically tell you that I have not detached. I'm still reading from the body. Then you shift out and look at the same line, you will get an answer. Simple as that.
There's a lot of people, Kwong, that read the book, understand the book really well, but that's not the same. They think they understand, but it's not the same as having the shift you're talking
It's
about.
not the same. If you have really understand the book, you would have treated everything as yourself. If you understand the book and you still play the game of separation, that understanding is not the understanding. That understanding is he thinks he understand.
Yes.
Think and think is different than understanding. It will translate into real action. Now, when you understand and you recognize that everybody else is yourself, there's only one thing you will do. You will love them. You will treat them as yourself. You will never attack them. You will never conflict with them because they are the same self. There cannot be anything that happens. If you recognize, you can see that all of them are yourself, and still you challenge them, you still conflict with them, you still condemn them, then that seeing that everything is yourself is not the true seeing. You thought you see, but you didn't experience that.
Yeah, that's Kwong, that's what attracted me to the course in the first place, oneness. Because I thought, well, if you have oneness, you can't have war, you can't have any conflict.
Impossible.
But I'm still waiting for the experience.
You can't be attacking yourself and hurting yourself.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Can you take a knife and cut yourself? You can't.
Well,
It's
you
silly.
wouldn't. It's silly, yes.
Only a sick mind can only go and take a knife and cut yourself.
Yes.
And this is what we are doing.
Yes.
When I'm not accepting it as myself, it's equivalent to I'm taking a knife and cut myself. Because by not accepting you I'm actually hurting myself, disowning myself. Now, when you can see that, then the only right thing to do is to love. You will not do anything. Same like I will love my body. I will protect my body because they are all part of me. I will never use anything to hurt me. I will not drink any poison. You see?
Yeah.
So no matter how you put it, the fact remains that if you really know what the book is talking about, the only thing you do is love. If you don't do what the book asks you to do, if you don't love, that means you have not understand the book. There is no gray area. See? Understanding equal to love. If you don't love, that means you don't understand. You think you understand.
No.
Thinking you understand is not understanding.
Yes.
By your action, you know that whether you know or not.
Yes, I know, Kwong. I know I don't understand. I know.
Yeah. Then you need more work to do. That's all.
But I understand I get the concept. I understand the concepts really well. I understand the concept. I got you. I'm right. I know where you're coming from. I just don't have that experience the same as you have, that whole instant of like the recognition, because I can see that, you know, I every day I go out in the world and I see people different from myself, you know, even though I understand that you and I are the same. We have to be the same because we're not separate. There's no separation. So we're the same. But yet I still see you as separate because, you know, I can't understand what you're saying sometimes. You come from a different part of the world. It's like I don't experience you as myself, even though I understand the concept that you are myself. I get that. I have no problem with that whatsoever, but I don't experience it yet. I guess I have little glimpses sometimes with my daughter. I have glimpses of that because I see that when I do see her more like myself, it's like the conflict's not there. There's no, even last night when I said goodnight to my partner and my daughter, I left and went over to give her a kiss, and I kicked over a drink of water I gave her earlier. And the first thought was, why did you put the glass of water there? You know, like I kicked it up. But then I caught myself straight away saying, well, I'm doing this. I did this. I gave her the water to put down, and I went to the other side of the chair I normally go to. So I'm doing it to sort of keep myself separate, to show that she's separate from me. Yeah. But I caught myself and I thought, well, I did this, and I can see how. And I did it because I felt like I was upset a bit earlier. Something happened a bit earlier, and I felt like now I have to sort of, you know, my guilt, have to push it out there somewhere and blame somebody else for something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you got to know that the ego is very powerful.
yeah.
How powerful is the ego? We have been spending years and years, every day, every minute, every second, to play the game of the ego.
Yes.
So suddenly the book asks you to change. It might be something very strange. It takes a while to get adapted to it. You see? So I don't know how long.
No.
You see? But the book already provide you a useful way to suppress the ego, to enable you to detach from the body identification. Okay.
We're nearly finished. I just want to ask, this is what people have trouble with, and myself as well. If someone comes over and punches me in the face, and it's like I'm thinking, well, that's myself. I should love them as myself. It's like it's very difficult.
I know. You see, Kevin, this is where the ego will give you this kind of hypothesis situation. What happens if people punch me, and do I still love him or not? Now, look at the whole thing situation this way. If you have been playing the game right, let's say there are only 5 of us here, and you have been playing the game right, and you have been loving them, treating them nicely, how on earth will ever anybody punch you? When you have been treating everybody the right way. So the ego will twist it, giving you an impossible situation. What is the impossible situation? If I love you, you will attack me. This is impossible. It makes no logic, no sense at all.
Right. So my ego's what my ego's doing then, my ego's taking a situation where somebody isn't loving someone else as themselves, and they get hit in the face, and I'm thinking, look what's happened. Yeah. And Peter Quinn,
it's an impossible situation.
Yeah, and Peter Quinn will give you this example with Jesus. He says he was just loving everybody and he got crucified. That's what That's what he'll say to that,
Yes.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
What would you say
That's
to
where
that?
that's where the ego trying to bring you back.
But what would you say to that? If he gives you the example of Jesus on the cross, forgiving everybody, loving everybody, and yet they've crucified him, stabbing him and nailing him up to the cross, what answer do you give to him? I'll ask him next Saturday. What answer would you
Okay.
give?
Jesus being so good, so loving, and helping so many people, yet he is being crucified. Now, look at the dream context. Who is Jesus? Who is the crucifier? Yeah, ourselves.
All the
Because
same, yes.
who is you? You are the mind that manifested the whole dream. You are the mind that manifested Jesus. You are the mind that manifested the people who crucify him. Now, why you have manifested this situation? Because this situation is to prove that the ego is right. Because in this dream, you already identify yourself as Kelvin, and you identify Jesus as somebody separate, a separate event. Now, when you identify yourself as Kelvin being the ego needs evidence to confirm that Kelvin is real, and to confirm that the separation is real, so, and to confirm that if you do good things, bad things will happen to you. So this event of crucifixion will happen to prove that the ego is powerful, the ego is real. So it is part of the ego's game because it's happening in the world of illusion.
Yeah, and my ego will say, if Jesus can't do it, how can I do it? I could be crucified any minute, anytime, anytime. If he can't do it, how could I possibly even do it?
Yeah. So look at it in this context. That game, that event is being used by the ego to enhance the ego, to keep Kelvin as the ego as a separate self.
Yeah. So basically, that goes back to like the Buddhist thing with you have to give up all attachment to everything, because that's what it is. It's you attached. I'm attached to my body, my personality, my things in life, everything I'm attached to.
Yeah.
Until I'm willing to give up that, like you and me and everything else is me, doesn't make any difference if I've got my house or you've got my house. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a tough one.
You see, Kelvin, if you, I always believe that what is logical.
Yeah.
What has been done in the past, leave it aside. You can't do anything.
No.
Because the past thought is as powerful as today's thought. But what you're going to do today will change tomorrow. Yesterday was the cause. Today is the result, the effect.
Yeah.
But don't forget, today is the cause. Tomorrow you will reap the result.
Yeah.
So if you have done the loving things today, the result will come tomorrow.
Yeah.
But what you are experiencing today is because of what you have done yesterday. You can't do anything. So the ego will tend to mix up. How is it going to mix up? Today I'm doing love, but yet I experience bad thing. So the ego will try to connect them. You see, you do loving thing and you still experience bad thing. Better don't do. You are losing out. But you forget that what you're experiencing now was based on yesterday. Because yesterday was the cause, today is the effect. So be very clear cut. Make it a logical understanding. If I'm doing good today, the result will come tomorrow. If I'm doing love, the love will come tomorrow. There is a little bit time of lag.